Hi everybody, it's Jordana, the pediatric dietitian. Today I'm going to be talking about how to prevent dehydration in our babies. It's probably one of the things that most parents are concerned about now moving into summer in the UAE. And it really depends on how we're feeding babies as to how we would be approaching this topic. If our babies are exclusively breastfed, there is absolutely no requirement for us to be giving them additional water to be preventing dehydration. Here it would just be that we might find that we're feeding a little bit more frequently and that our babies might be having smaller kind of little snacky types of meals. When we look at the kind of composition of breast milk, we can see that the earlier milk in a feed is going to be a little bit more watery, and then the milk that's coming later on in a feed is going to be containing a little bit more fat. And it's purely just because now there's had a longer time for it to be drawing through that milk duct, which is lined with the fat, and so pulling that fat out with it. If you're noticing at least that your baby's feeding a little bit more frequently, they might be having a little bit more of that thirst quencher milk. And so it might just be that they're wanting to be having that. What you're needing to be look at though is then still kind of tracking that at nighttime. How are they feeding? Are they still then having a longer feed so that they're still getting those good essential fat calories in from that milk? In terms of formula-fed babies, we don't necessarily have to be giving them water. The only time that I would really be recommending additional water on top of the formula is if your baby was suffering from constipation. But other than that, again, I wouldn't be focusing on I must be giving them water. Maybe if your baby has spent a lot of time in a car or a lot of time outside, then I would look at maybe let's give them a little bit more extra water. But generally speaking, we wouldn't need to. For those babies, however, that have started on solids, regardless of if you're giving them breast milk or if you're giving them formula, these babies must be taking in water. Water is going to be essential for that dehydration, but it's also going to be essential to be making sure that the body is able to digest that food appropriately and keep that poo essentially a little bit softer and easier for them to be passing. We know that when babies start solids that they are more prone to constipation, just because solid food is a lot more difficult for the digestive system to be breaking down. In terms of that dehydration, monitor how you are kind of handling your baby within these heat. So look at, we don't want to spend too much time in the car, and in the car are we ensuring that there is some AC on them? Look at how much time we're spending out in the sun, and if we are spending time outdoors, then have water available. For that baby that's in that 6 to 12 month window, it's have that water available and to be giving it to them either in a straw cup or in an open cup. Ideally, don't be giving them water in a bottle, and also you don't need to be using specific baby sippy cups. We know with these types of cups that they're not actually getting their optimal jaw and their lip development, and so using an open cup or using a straw cup would be a better option. When we're looking at dehydration, the ways that we can pick up dehydration is if you're noticing that the amount of nappies has really decreased. So they were, for example, let's say having 6 nappies a day, and now they're only having 1 or 2 nappies. If you can start to smell a very strong wee smell, or you're noticing that the color of the wee is very, very intense, these can be all potential signs of dehydration in our babies. So here it is really focus on that water, water, water. One of the kind of end stages of dehydration is if we were to take our baby's hands and pull their skin up like this. If the skin stayed up, that would be a sign that there is an element of dehydration. But if it bounces back straight away, like my hand at the moment, then there wouldn't be a problem for dehydration. It's not something that we see very common, except if babies have spent a lot of time outdoors or a lot of time in a hot car. So it's really not something that I want you to get panicked about if you're still here for the summertime. Enjoy this time and really remember that milk does still give them their hydration. Have a good day, everybody. See you soon.